Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Inter-IFAS series on memories of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Tonight, we feel very blessed and very honored to have one of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's dear disciples. His name is Prithu Das, and he comes to us from Nigeria originally. And so he has lots of pastimes from Nigeria, from Gitanagari, from Washington, D.C. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Gitanagari, about our Inter-IFAS that's located at the Institute House in Gitanagari. This is where we bring these live programs from, and we bring it to you from Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's Institute House. And IFAST is Inter-IFAST, as we call this, is a branch of IFAST that was actually founded by His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And what Inter-IFAS does is each week on social media, we bring programs that emphasizes the teachings of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And so what we're doing now is bringing some of the disciples that are also sharing some of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's teachings here on the Memory Series. And so tonight we want to thank our team for being here with us. We thank Ekavira, who is becoming a part of our team, and more he's gracing us with his presence. We're so very grateful, and we want to welcome Prithu Prabhu. Prithu, we thank you so very much for being with us, and we know that you have spent so much time with Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and your experience with him is different in different countries. So we're hoping you will share with us his mood and your relationship with him in Nigeria as well as in America, because we know he's different in those two countries.
Before you start, Prithu, please, I just want to express we're really happy to be here with you tonight. And we expressed in the past that Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he had such an eclectic effect on people from all walks of life, from personalities who were very simple in their educational process, and then those who were what we tend to call big brain personalities.
Yeah.
And Prithu is one of those personalities that spans the whole gamut. He's very simple, but at the same time, he holds 2 PhDs. He's a major in the U.S. Army. He's extremely devotional. He's extremely loving and compassionate. So he's just an all-around wonderful person. So we're grateful to be with you tonight.
And since Ekavir is reminding us of that, I also want to say he's a wonderful husband and a father of 2 beautiful children. So there's so much to say about Prithu. I was just so eager to hear some of the pastimes of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj. So thank you, Ekavir Prabhu.
But that legacy of Guru Maharaj is starting with the great souls like Ekavira Prabhu and Mother Brajalila. Like you glorify people, but your glory is the greatest of all. So you make me feel good, but you're the one that makes all of us feel actually good. When I joined in 1987 in Nigeria, when I joined the ISKCON in Ibadan, Nigeria, I hear Ekavira Mataji's name over and over. And I lament so much that I never got to meet her. But fortunately for me, I came to Gitanagari and I was blessed with your grace, and everything all the devotees in Nigeria says about you were accurate to the words. So you're one of those leaders who actually set the pace in Africa. So please don't give me the glories. You have the glories of making us all devotees. So thank you, Mataji. Yeah, going back to what I saw, in 1987, I was just a young teenage undergraduate student in Ibadan. And I used to see the Hare Krishna temple right across from my university campus. Every time I go out, I'll see the big banner Hare Krishna temple. And I thought it's a gym, like a yoga studio where you go to do yoga exercise and those kind of things. So I kept saying, oh, one of these Sundays when I don't have classes, I'll stop by so that I can show them I also know something about yoga. So as I got there, the first day I went there was Sunday morning. They were all beating drums, everybody shaving headed, all black African boys beating drums. The place smelled different, never smelled anything like that before. The drum, I've never seen it like that before. Everything is strange. Just to put it simple, it's out of this world. Anyway, after they finished the program, I asked, what time you guys do yoga? I'd like to come over for yoga. I said, oh, we do yoga all the time. That's what I was told. the table president, he wears glasses, looking very clean and responding. He just told me, oh, we do yoga all the time. Come back at 4 o'clock. We have program at 4 o'clock. So I turned around to leave, but they said, no, don't go. You have breakfast with us. And I was thinking, you know, coming out of Africa, there's one thing you think when you walk into people's houses, the food is already rationed. Now, if you take part of the food, you reduce their ration. And I was thinking that, no, I really don't want to reduce you guys' ration. I'm okay. I'm doing, no, please. They insisted I have breakfast with them. So I had breakfast. The food, again, is out of this world. Never tasted it. So I left. I came back at 4 o'clock. And then they were beating drum and singing. I don't understand what they were saying, but I just quietly stood there and listened. At the end of the drum, they gave a class. And it was like the speaker was talking to me directly. Like everything he was saying from the beginning of the class, which was like 45 minutes, it's like he was talking to me. So I became a little more interested. Okay, maybe I should find out a little more. Then I came to find out I'm from a Muslim background to start with. So I was raised in a Muslim home. And if you know something about Islam, it's almost like Islam is considered to be very precious and it's a good fortune to be a Muslim. So you can't even think about joining any other religion because everything else, nothing is greater than Islam. That's the way we were brought up. So, but listening to all of this preaching in the temple, it sounds exactly like what Islam is preaching. The only difference is the way they dress, the way they look, and they follow too. That was the most striking thing. They're just all teenage boys like myself. If any one of them is older, maybe in their 20s, but they live to what they say. That was the biggest shock to me. Like, okay, in the Muslim mosque, they say all these things, but they don't practice. But here, these guys say it and they do it. That was what captured me. That was why I felt, well, they don't do yoga, but already I made friends with them. I'll just keep listening to them. So, but one interesting thing, every morning they have Karma Yoga, they'll go clean the guru's room. They keep cleaning the guru's room every day, but the guru never showed up. So I was wondering, every time the best Sankirtan devotee that has the best Sankirtan collection is the one to clean the guru's ashram. And I never saw the guru. So I was wondering, is this an imaginary guru? What it is? But then suddenly one day they told me, Guru Maharaj is coming, it's in Lagos, he's coming to Ibadan. And I was like, what? So I was interested in seeing him because it's always his picture that's on the asana. But when he came from Lagos that morning, he came with like maybe 10 or 12 brahmacharis. It was like a rush. It was almost like they were running, like they have something to do and take care of and move on to the next. They just rushed into the temple, they took darshan, and then he sat down, and then they beat drum. And as they were singing the Guru Astakam, it's almost like he was also singing it too. So I was wondering, I thought they said it's the guru, it's everything. Why is he singing? So they told me, no, he's singing also to his own guru. And I was like, that perplexed me a little bit. He has a guru too. Anyway, cut long story short, Guru Maharaj that morning gave a lecture about how Krishna consciousness is almost like practicing for Olympics. So you make one step, you stay on it and persist and improve on that, then you move on one more step. And then you stay on that one more step, you persist, you improve on it, and then you move on. You don't jump. So he gave a very eloquent class that morning. And I was so impressed by the way he speaks, his look, his appearance, and then his students too were immaculate. Cut long story short, from that point in 1987, I was really glued to the movement, just for the fact that the guru practices, he says what he do. I mean, he does what he says, and the students also does what they say. So that was just that was the power of the magnet in the Krishna consciousness movement that got me with Guru Maharaj. So just a little bit more of Rajalila before your next question. I want to speak a little bit to IFAST. So when Guru Maharaj was forming IFAST in Washington, D.C., we in Ibadan, we were following the trend. What happened is we like to preach in all these university institutions and collect all interfaiths together. So we were following what was happening in Washington, D.C. So as soon as IFAST, we look at the IFAST logo, all the platform, everything Guru Maharaj said about it, we saw that what he wants to do is to create an avenue in which we will go out and not look seemingly strange and be able to approach people and present Krishna consciousness. So in Ibadan, we adopted that and we had the first interfaith conference in Ibadan. When we printed the poster, we didn't know Guru Maharaj was going to come from America. Surprisingly, He came, he was touring Africa then, he stopped in, it was our good fortune. He stopped in Lagos. They showed him the poster we sent to Lagos Temple. And the Lagos devotees were angry because they are strict brahmacharis. All they know is you have to wake up in the morning, take a shower, put on tilak, go to Mangal, and chant your rounds and go. So it's the traditional, you know, then carry your japa bag and go on Sankirtan and then come back and do evening Sundar Artik and then Bhagavad Gita class and then take rest. So it was strictly very methodical, traditional Krishna consciousness, you know, format. So here we are, we say we eye fast and then we don't put on tilak, we just put on like regular shirt and dress like regular people. It really freaked them out in Lagos, like, what do they think they're doing? So when Guru Maharaj came, they showed him what we were doing and he was just shaking his head. He was. So then they asked him, so he was telling them to prepare in 3 days, he was going to the seminar in Ibadan. And one of the senior devotees, you know, now Sannyasi, asked him, are you really going to that program? He said, I'm excited about it. Guru Maharaj told them, I'm excited about it. So he showed up in Ibadan and he gave the prologue. I mean, he gave the introductory, he was the introductory guest speaker. He spoke and introduced all the speakers and all the religious group that are coming for the program, and then he left. And from that day on, other religious institutions borrowed from us and they took it up. Of course, they have more funding and resources and they lived with it. But we set the foundation for interfaith seminars in Nigeria as IFAST.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's amazing because I remember being in Africa and like you said, it's always traditional. You know, everything was always very, 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 very traditional according to like how Srila Prabhupada gave it to us. So I wasn't aware, this must have been after I had left there that you did that interfaith IFAST program. Wow, that's amazing. That's very beautiful. Yeah, so Prithu, we want you to share memories. You know, we want to ask questions too. However, we want to give you the opportunity to share as many memories as you would like. You know, whatever's coming to your mind, and then we'll ask questions a little bit later, a little bit.
So one of the things is we normally have a TV program and radio program whenever Guru Maharaj is in the country, and a lot of time we go with his asana. So we prepare the sitting place, not just regular sittings and those kind of things. But there's this particular TV program. I think Chanakya Pandit Prabhu will remember that program very well. The Christian minister from one of the Christian denominations, he was very, very disrespectful and very antagonistic to Guru Maharaj. And this is a call-in program where it's a live program. People are calling in on the phone as the program is being aired. And Guru Maharaj, the devotees almost like they're gonna get up from their seat and just go disrupt the whole program and just kick this guy really bad. But I mean, Guru Maharaj was just talking, but see the composure of Guru Maharaj, he kind of like calmed everybody down, even though everybody was restless, like we don't know what to do. But at some point, he turned around and then he told them, I hope maybe, I don't know if that video can be retracted and put on YouTube. And then he said, if we have to discuss religion and worship of God, it's one thing. At some point, he just spoke like that. If we have to discuss religion and worship of God is one thing. If we have to attack each other on a personal note, that's another thing entirely. And I think if we want to be of benefit to the public, to the society, we should think about how we present religion and philosophy rather than attacking people personally. That shut that gentleman down for a little bit, but when the phone calls started coming in, everybody was on the Christian minister. Everybody calling from outside, people you call Kami that ordinarily would see devotees and disrespect, they were strictly on him that why is he so inimical? I mean, they were really on him. So they helped us to care of him. Then there's one program I witnessed specifically that I organized in Ibadan out of our interfaith program. This was with it's a senior seminaries. We reach out to all seminaries, Catholic seminaries, because they're all brahmacharis. So we kind of like let them know, hey, we speak the same language, we do the same thing, we believe in the same thing, we just do it differently. And they kind of like, they are kind of attracted to us in some form. They do come to the ISKCON temples. So there's this program in a senior seminary, it's called SS Peter and Paul Seminary this day. So the program was supposed to be 3 speakers. Coincidentally, only Guru Maharaj showed up. So, well, the whole seat was for Guru Maharaj then to speak the entire time. So I'll be honest, let me just be honest on this program. I don't know what Guru Maharaj was talking about in that program, but every 5 minutes, I mean, the students and the bishop, they were all in their white regalia, really looking smart and clean. I mean, they just look like holy men from some heavenly planets with the thin rope tie across their waist, with the white gown. They really look great. But the whole auditorium was filled up. And then other seminaries and other nuns were invited from other seminaries around the state. But every 5 to 7 minutes, as Guru Maharaj is speaking, they just kept interrupting him. They will all get up and clap. And it was talking about the history of Catholic practice, and of course, too, the importance of this celibacy and what celibacy brings to the life of an aspirant. So it's really from a platform that they've never heard about it before. And every 5 minutes, they all get up and clap. I don't know if I should say this on a recorded video, but my mouth is leaky, so I will still say that. So, Govinda Prabhu, Marabrajalira, you remember Gita Govinda Prabhu. Gita Govinda Prabhu turned around to me and told me, he said, I don't understand anything he's talking about, even though they're so excited. And I said, Prabhu, I don't understand what he's saying either. But every 5 minutes, because he was talking from the Catholic philosophy and relating it to Krishna consciousness, they were all amazed. They will all get up and clap. But at the end of his presentation, the nun, one of the senior nuns that was asked to pray, now it's no longer Hare Krishna like the way they introduced him initially. He's now our brother. At the end of it, he became our brother. So it's no longer Hare Krishna or anything anymore. We are brothers now. They said now, so they now call on the sister, to please give the last talk and to give the prayer. And when she prayed that our brother, as he goes around the world, inspiring everyone to live by the word of the Lord, Lord, we ask you to take control of his life, take control of his mind, and remove obstacles from his life. This sister prayed so wonderfully that she recognized him that he is one of us. So the interfaith component of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj came solidly into life. Actually, my brother was supposed to be the videographer to come and record that video. He didn't show up, but he sent someone. We had it recorded on video. I'm talking about 20 plus years ago. 20 years, that was 1989 or 1990, around 1990. This is what I'm talking about. So I don't know what happened to that video out of Ibadan, but it was one in which we had to beg them to let him go because everybody wanted to take photograph with him. They took a whole group photo, and then everybody just wanted to be around him that he would take his own personal photo. It was the culmination of our relationship with the Catholic ministry in Nigeria. That was really what broke the hard rock that gave room to the water to flow through. That particular presentation from Guru Maharaj that evening. Yeah, so that's another one that was interesting. There are so many. Actually, the Muslim society, inimical as they could be, they couldn't resist Guru Maharaj because when they met with the Muslim leaders, it wasn't really, and the Muslim leaders, it's kind of interesting that they even said, look, if there are riots or anything, they're attacking Christians or anything, we will let your students know ahead of time. It was that limit that after meeting Guru Maharaj, it just have an electrifying effect. But so much of electrifying effect is laid down on what Prabhupada teaches him, but he has a different way of presenting it. And sometimes it's not even going in dhoti and saffron. It's going to dress like an African. So it just blending, blending completely. That, they've gotten all the message. The next time they see him, what he wears doesn't matter. The next time they see him, maybe in dhoti, but that don't matter anymore because they've already made up their mind as to who he really is. So those are some of the pastimes. And at some point, I mean, the preaching was so impressive that there was one brahmachari that his parents were very wealthy. I don't know if I should say this on video, but he was living in the temple. And the parents don't want him in the temple. To the point that Guru Maharaj was flying out, and this family was able to stop the flight and tell Guru Maharaj to produce their son. Now you have to produce my kid. And so Guru Maharaj told the young boy, go home, stay with your parents. It's not time for you to be a devotee. I mean, it's not time for you to live in the temple. When that time comes, nobody can stop you. So it's very electrifying in terms of how they preach. And everybody at some point, he just encouraged everyone to move to the next city, open a temple and start preaching and start giving your results and communicating with your regional leaders and with him as well. And with that, in a small country of Nigeria, we have about 9 temples, about 9 temples. So that's even to the extreme, Jos, Kaduna, which is the hot zone, the hotbed of Islamic fundamentalism. We have temples in those locations, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to some of those Islamic countries when I was there, and yeah, I remember that, because he was such a like Ekavir said, an eclectic person. He didn't, it's like his service was to cross boundaries. And I know, like in Nigeria, I remember when he would go to some of these different communities, and yeah, he would just share Krishna consciousness in a way that they would accept it. That was something that I think many people valued about him, that because he really loved people, that was it. He was like a true humanitarian for Krishna. Yeah. So any other pastime you want to share, Prabhu? And then we'll ask Leela if she has any question for you.
Yeah, so maybe the questions we'll bring by some
Okay.
other.
Okay, Leela, do you have anything you want to ask Prithu Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Prithu Prabhu, for sharing this. It's so inspiring, right? To every week we're hearing from a different person and just adding to this knowledge that we have of Bhakti Tirtha Swami, how he was and who he was as a person. I do have a question. Because of how you're saying that he was able to connect with people and all different kinds of people, different traditions. Is there any quality as part of the Inter-IFAS team that we are, as we're trying to share Krishna consciousness with people who maybe have no religious background or a different tradition? Is there a quality that you saw in him or something that you can share with us of how do we connect with people that are different from us or just have different ideas? He was so expert at it, and I'm wondering if you saw anything that you can share with us that can help us try to imbibe that quality of connection with different kinds of people.
I would say it's a little difficult to really, because whichever direction you look at Guru Maharaj, there's something you see about him that really moves different people. I mean, for me, it was his compassion. For him, he doesn't see the difference between, the guy on the street that is homeless. He would stop and talk to them. He would just stop and give them his time and smile and encourage and tell them, 1 or 2 things they can do to improve their existence. And if he sees the opportunity for his students to support them, he would send us out to support that individual, actually. So it's one of, one for all for all. So for him, his lifestyle is such that, everybody matters. Everyone matters, no matter what their background is, whether they are millionaires or they have nothing to offer, they matters to him. He tells us we're all one, If that person is not successful, then that's our failure too. So, I mean, right now with the pandemic situation, where do we fit into the equation? Right now we have a live broadcast, going on. This may be someone's opportunity to hear for the last time about a pure soul. But we all have to reach out in some ways to do something. For him, it's all about doing something. I mean, when I joined the military, for instance, I was blinded, like confused. How do I preach? What do I preach? Where do I go to preach? It was all like, I really don't know. I did speak to some senior devotees and they told me, oh, your preaching will increase if you go into the military. So, but even then I was asking myself, is this what Guru Maharaj will want? But even if it's not what he wants, I know Guru Maharaj for one thing. He will tell you, well, we can still use that to serve Krishna in some ways. and it will just instruct you to use any opportunity you have to preach. Wherever it is, you have to reach out. So we just, being limitless is the thing. And then again, too, you know, Guru Maharaj can be very demanding. So, Mother Brajlila and Kavira can speak a lot to that. They can put us to sleep telling us about our past times. So it can be very demanding. Now, because if you tell him, Guru Maharaj, I want to be a brahmachari and I want to be a military. So yeah, you can do both. You can do both. So we will put you to task, really. Like whatever way you show up, however you show up, there's some service for you. So we should also look around and just try to be of service in whichever form or ways. And what you're doing is just what is needed right now, because some young people, they can only take 20, 30 minutes of conversations like this. And this is the right service, and this is the right forum for them. So any other medium will not work for those group of people. And we need to reach out to them too. So, yeah.
Kishori, do you have any questions for Prithu Prabhu?
Thank you so much. It's so interesting to hear those stories from Africa. It's kind of, I never heard any yet, so it was really inspiring and hearing those like details, how it was there. And I wonder, maybe you can share something like personal, maybe Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj give you personal instructions so that you still carrying on and helps you live your life as a devotee till now. Like maybe some personal interaction with him, it would be interesting if you have one. Thank you.
So another pastime here. So one time, I was a graduate student then. So my research supervisor, he worked for an international research institute. He's an Indian guy. His name is Singh. He's a breeder. So he's a geneticist. So how I got into his program, it's just miraculous. Anyway, so one day I told him that my Guru Maharaj is in Benin. Benin is about, I think it's about 200 miles south of Ibadan. So that's about 5 hours of driving. So I told him my Guru Maharaj is in Benin and I'll be going to see him. So he said, "You're going to see Guru Maharaj?" You know, like traditional Indian accent. And he said, "I think I would like to come too." So fortunately for me, because, you know, in Africa, you know, if you ever work for government in Africa, you can, you know, there's no difference, there's no boundary between your personal property and government property. So everything cuts across. So he said, "Well, my personal driver will take us there to Benin." So I sat down in the back of a Jeep Cherokee, you know, with him, and then we drove to Benin. So we got to Benin. I was hoping that I was just going to go to Benin, I'll offer obeisances and, you know, recount what I've been doing to Guru Maharaj, and then I'll come back to Ibadan the same day. So I got to Benin, and this is what Guru Maharaj told me when I went to take darshan. He said, "Well, I used to come." So he said, you've come to have my association. I used to come to Ibadan to have your association. So now you come to Benin to have my association only for 1 hour. No, you should have my association for a day or two, not just 1 hour. So I was shocked when he said he used to come to Ibadan to have my association. Like, what? No, I'm nothing. You know, but that's just his magnanimity. You know, he kind of like make everyone feel important. And in his heart, everybody is important. Because during those last days in Gitanagri, you can see how he was stopped by everybody and thank them for what they did for Prabhupada. So everyone is important. So he said he used to come to Ibadan to have my association. So, but I cannot just come for 1 hour and then jump back in the car and drive back. So I went to Dr. Singh, and I told Dr. Singh that Dr. Singh, Guru Maharaj said I have to stay another day. He said, "Are you staying?" I said, "Yes, I have to stay." He said, "Okay, so we'll see." And actually, I don't even have Lakshmi for transportation back to Ibadan if I don't jump on that car. so I let Dr. Singh go. So he left, and then I stayed the night, and I knew as big as the temple room is, I know Guru Maharaj was looking around when he was speaking in the evening to see if I were there or not. And he saw me in a corner somewhere, and he said, "Okay, he's here." So because there's just too many students, and he comes in for only a limited time because he's traveling around the world. So we don't all get to you know, be able to take one after the other. Like a lot in the Western world, you guys have a lot of access to Swamis and senior devotees. In that part of the world, we don't have that opportunity. It's not only only a few people have the opportunity because they can't see everybody. It's a little, and there's a lot of us too. So the following day, I went to see him and told him I was leaving, and he thanked me, you know, for coming and sharing time with him. And I was like, no, I've come to benefit from your presence. And then I left back to Ibadan. So that's just another of his love and compassion, to think that, well, he's going to all these places because he wants to have association with those devotees and they can motivate each other. He always say, oh, we motivate each other. so it's for him, it's a two-way thing. You know, it's not a one-way, it's both ways. You know, that's another thing. I don't know if I'm able to answer your question, but specifically, yeah, you're talking about specific instruction. I never had one, I will be honest. I never had a specific instruction like, okay, go do this assignment and do this. Other people were fortunate to have one, but I never did. Unfortunately, it's just because I'm probably not one of those serious students. If I were, I definitely would have had one. Definitely, yeah.
It's so interesting you would say that, Prithu, because everyone in IFAS knows that you're the one. We always share with the team, the team here that's doing the social media programs, that after Guru Maharaj left his body, many of us, were not doing so much to keep the legacy of Srila Prabhupada alive that he gave to us. And I would say, but however, there were some things that were going on in IFAST in DC, and most of those things that were going on was because of you. You were the one that arranged so many different programs at the, in the parks and at the I believe one time you arranged, because I think we went there, Kavira and myself. It was on the lawn of the White House, and you were doing so many, like you're so responsible. You're always thinking of ways to keep IFAST alive. And then when you left to go in the military, I was like, okay, well, now what's going to happen, And so when Kishirani approached me to do these programs, to do things online, at first I was a little resistant, but then I think about you, and I think about how determined you were to just keep things going after Guru Maharaj left. So, you say you didn't receive a personal physical instruction, but I do believe that those instructions are always in your heart. And so I want to ask you this question: what is it about what you learned from Guru Maharaj that keeps you, even though you came from a Muslim background, you in the military, but yet you're so chaste to the philosophy and teachings of Krishna consciousness, and also to, what Srila Prabhupada, the mission of Srila Prabhupada. What is it about what Gurudev gave you that keeps you with this kind of chastity?
I think it's life in the foundation. Like I said, Guru Maharaj, and when I met the devotees, growing up, in my home, when I start practicing Krishna consciousness and insisting, when they don't give me food and they say, no, we eat meat, you have to eat meat in this house. And I just fast for days. And then my family got scared that this guy would die, so they really got scared of me. But they were sneaking out and reading some of my Prabhupada's books. And one thing they told me was, what we find in those books are non-different from what is being preached in Islam. Why don't you take Islam? It's the same. What they are saying in those books are the same. But the culminating thing, the knot, the final knot that really tie me a little bit to all of you is the fact that you all live it. You live by what you say. And I just came out of the Middle East, for instance, for 1 year. And it reminds me of my upbringing, from a Muslim home, because everywhere women are all covered up, and there's protocol in terms of how you approach a man, how you approach a woman. I saw it really it's like living my childhood life over again the last 1 year, completely. But it goes back again to what I saw growing up. They say it, but people don't really practice it. But then when I met the devotees in ISKCON, they say it and they do it. That really was the catch, really. The fact that they live by what they say. I mean, it's really, I mean, we can fault ourselves up 1,010 times in terms of what we're not able to accomplish. But if we look back and see the difference we've made between now and 30, 40 years ago, we know there's an ocean, of difference in terms of what we do now that we wouldn't do then, or what we would do then that we wouldn't do now. So it's so wide. So they did not, I mean, seeing Guru Maharaj and his students, they all live by what they say. That was just the catch. And then again, too, it's all about, he kept reminding us, this is a missionary mission. So being a missionary mission, you just have to think about what your capabilities are and how you can apply those capabilities in order to fulfill the mission. So that's the drive there, like, what can I do better? Kishore Rani, she's good with IT, and she said, you know what, we can take this into the, we can take this into that territory. And some of us who don't know how to manipulate computers, we just follow along. As long as we follow
that's me.
The mission will be accomplished because, it takes a whole house, it's a community effort. It's not just one person thing. So even here at DC, I mean, I get a lot of support from Baltimore. I get a lot of support from Potomac Temple. Mataji, all those programs you've seen, I'm not really, I go to Nina Madhava Prabhu, I go to, Ananda Vrindava Mataji, and they give everything, whatever I need, they just give. And even while I was there in Qatar, I mean, I was sending emails out, begging for books, and, Sankirtan Yagya Prabhu responded with his Sankirtan team, and they sent boxes and boxes and boxes of Bhagavad Gita that made its way into the biggest airbase in the Middle East. Every shelf I can find, you will find a free Bhagavad Gita lying there. Every dormitory that has a shelf for reading and relaxing, there's a Bhagavad Gita right there now, and Upanishad and whatnot. And I'm already out of there by now, but what can I do while I'm here? The only thing I can do is to make sure that I put free books on the shelves and people can read. Everywhere that there's a shelf, there will be a Gita or any of the proper books. And for the iFast book, I reserve those to those who really helped me in my mission. I autographed, as a senior, I autographed that, and then I gave it out to those who really helped. Because there's a guy, he's a Sergeant Love. He really helped me out with the yoga class. I have yoga in the morning, on Tuesday morning and Thursday evenings. And this young man, he was always there in my yoga class. And every time when I have assignment, because sometimes you all wake up around 8 o'clock here. By then it's already 4 o'clock over there. So I will miss my yoga class on Thursday nights because I have to take phone calls from here or do something related to people on the East Coast. And it will help me stand by. I'll keep running. As soon as I finish my call, I'm running to get to the gym. And sometimes yoga is almost over. So I gave him one of the Spiritual Warrior Volume 2, which is a very precious book to me. I autographed it and gave him a copy. And I give copies to people like that. And sometimes people just see you chanting and they know that you are Hare Krishna. And one young soldier, he approached me just like that. So every time he see me in the dining room, he will ask, sir, can I join you? I said, come on. So it became like, lunch became like after lunch, we talk about, Mahabharata or some pastimes, and then we relate it to what we are doing right on ground sometimes. So it was helpful. So in the same spirit, it's just that aspect of, looking around, seeing what is there and, taking advantage of our competencies and, using it to get some work done for Gurudev and Prabhupada.
All right, thank you so much. Ekavir, do you have anything you want to ask? And then Leela, you can close us out.
Yes, Prithu, as Raja Leela expressed, you have a vast amount of practical experience, life experience. At this point in time, based upon your practical training through your college, as we talked about, your 2 PhDs, and through your military experience and just life experience in general, combined with that which you learned from Guru Maharaj, what can you share with, one thing that you can share with all of us to help us at this point in time?
What can I share with Lila Mataji and Ekavira Prabhu? That's too far reaching, really. For me to think out something I can share. It's way far, it's too far out. But I mean, what you're all doing right now, you're there and getting angry with all the communication difficulties. You stream a live video. That's like, I remember when I used to live in Gate Nigeria, and you'd be looking for the spot where you can make a phone call. If you step out of that spot, you're streaming video. That's determination there, because I was wondering how you all doing it. Streaming video from Gate Nigeria. I couldn't believe it, but you made it happen. So that's magnanimous in itself. I mean, you've done great. You know, you've inspired so many. I came to Krishna consciousness because of both of you. If Mother Braj Leela didn't come with Guru Maharaj to Africa, we won't have, there's no way, you know, everything that was done in that planet wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, and you're still striving on, still determined to keep preaching. So what can I say? You know, I can only beg that, you know, I'm not so obedient, but you should all just be compassionate upon me with my deficiencies. That's what I can ask for. I can only beg for compassion.
Okay.
We just all owe Srila Prabhupada and his representatives around the world's lives. So much, so much. Yeah.
And
Leela.
And these group of devotees here, Kishore Rani and Leela, especially tonight, and Anna and
yeah, and Bhakti. These devotees, they're like, they're bonded, you know, they're bonded with love for Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And for that, I'm just so grateful. I'm so indebted to them. Yeah, because they want to hear from all of his disciples, and they're eager, excited, and that inspires us to, you know, support the whatever, like you said, trying to do these things on I don't even know how this is happening, to be honest with you, these online programs, but they're going on. So that's Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And we were just saying, Ekavir and I was saying today, if Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was on the planet, he probably would be on this thing with Kishore every day.
Absolutely.
Every day, he probably would.
And they will check, and then all the recordings, wherever he is in the world, he will listen to other recordings and listen to what other devotees are saying. He never thinks any devotee is too small to be listened to. That's another striking thing. Like, everyone has a voice, and that voice matters to him.
Yes. So Leela, would you like to close us through our program tonight?
Thank you so much. And again, Prithu Das Prabhu, I want to thank you so much of just adding on to the understanding that and inspiration that we get from Bhakti Tirtha Swami. What I'm taking away tonight, there's a few things, but something that stuck out that you mentioned about the people within the Krishna consciousness movement and what differentiates us. And it's something that I just think should be repeated for all of us, maybe especially for me, is that integrity, right? That living what you're preaching. And I think I mentioned that because this is something that I also noticed when I first met the devotees that was different from everyone else, like people living what they're talking about and being a living example of bhakti. And so I thank you again for that reminder, so that I remember to have that integrity and to walk with that that respect for the teachings, and also of the compassion that Bhakti Tirtha Swami shared. This is like, if there's one word that I think describes him, is compassion. Another one I think would be courage, but this is what comes through, you know, Vraja Leela and Ekavira Prabhu and all of his disciples and students, is this compassion. So I thank you for that. And then just the idea that this is a missionary mission, like reminding us of why we're doing what we're doing, why we're putting in these efforts, why we're endeavoring, and to just look around and do something, right? Because this is not about us. This team is about his vision, which is about Srila Prabhupada's vision, and just going all the way down the parampara, the lineage of all of our teachers. So thank you so much. I hope that we can hear from you again. It was very, very enlightening.
Thank you for all you're all doing. I'm really appreciative and very, very glad. I really love what you're all doing. I'll be honest. I've been watching your YouTube videos on my big screen, and I'm waiting to see more of it come true so I can sit in my sitting room and watch more. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Prithu Prabhu, and definitely you have an open invitation to come back again. Thank you. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.